Sheriff Walter. Sheriff Bob? Well, like you said, it's picking up off of that mic over there, that fan.
Yeah, you turn those off.
We shut them off. Let's be in order.
Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for blessing us with the most needed moisture that we've received. Bless all those that are present here today and give us wisdom for all of the decisions that we make today. Amen.
Amen. Senator Carter, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Of course. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Commissioner Love.
Present.
I turned on. At least that's my word he's mentioned. Did you?
Let the sound man take care of that.
Probably got a guitar in there.
That costs you money.
All the way through this.
I didn't. I turned it on. Everybody's going to have to talk really loud.
So we may just all have to speak loud today. How sensitive is your thing, Tom? Are we okay, or?
I'll be okay. I need to move a little closer. There we go. Yeah, good.
Yay!
Do we do a standing ovation?
Somebody.
Is it loud now? Is it loud? The main? Just lower that main driver down.
Is it good? Commissioner Walter?
Present.
Commissioner Lopez?
Here.
Commissioner Loudon?
Present. Approval of the agenda. Any changes in the last 3 minutes?
I think we got them all.
All right.
At the end.
There should be more approval of the novel today.
Yeah.
I have no additions or subtractions, changes. Make motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Walter?
Yes.
Commissioner Loudon?
Yes. Consideration of minutes of August 1st, 2018.
I reviewed the minutes last night. I didn't have any issues with them.
We need that.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Walter?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Loudon?
Yes. Regular meeting minutes of August 7th, 2018.
Once again, I didn't see any corrections.
I don't know.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Walter?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Loudon?
Yes. Special meeting minutes of August 14th, 2018.
Make motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Walter?
Yes.
Commissioner Loudon?
Yes. Reading of correspondence, commissioner committee reports.
I have none today.
I have a quick one. I was in at OPI yesterday. Grass is coming up nice and green between here and Lahana. Thank God for the moisture. We did approve another $40,000 loan for a company out of Lahana yesterday, approved by our review committee. Also, there is an additional grant coming up now in April. We will be applying for another $250,000. So there's money out there for those that need to borrow to start businesses. Do any
You know, Gary, I'm gonna preempt you for the senator, so. Sure. Go ahead.
Morning. It's, as usual, it's a pleasure being here. What I'm doing is, as a senator, I represent 16 counties, and I try and get around to see all the county commissioners throughout in the summertime. And, you know, my problem is a lot of the counties meet on the same day, so I have to work the schedule. But it's, as always, it's a pleasure being down here in the great county of Los Angeles. You know, there's a lot going on. You know, I continue to serve on Health and Human Services, which has a bearing on health care. You know, health care in general is doing pretty well. The problem we're running into is controlling the costs. And part of the problem is the federal government. You know, so it's an ongoing battle. Whether or not people will win, I cannot say. But I do know that health care is vital to this area. I'm very impressed with the health care locally that is in place. Medicaid continues to be a vital source for the area due to the demographics. And, you know, we will continue to do what we can to make it more affordable, as well as making sure things stay in place. You know, the metro area has what we have basically is in rural Colorado, what we're trying to do is stabilize. In the metro areas, hospital care is a big business. So there's somewhat of a different outlook on how you can look at things. But I continue to look at how we can, you know, support local hospitals. We did get 267 through, which actually bolstered the hospital provider fee, which helped take care of Medicaid, which really it's a vital issue for this area because you are a critical access hospital area, so it does help this quite a bit. So we continue to work on healthcare continuously, and we'll do so. Another committee I sit on is local affairs, which is oversight for DOLA. A lot of the programs that are financed, such as wastewater as well as water quality, is through DOLA. So we continue to, and you have to realize most of the revenue of that comes out of the severance tax, which the year started out that the severance tax was going to be extremely low, and due to the economy as well as the industry, the severance tax is back up to par. So it's not a depleted fund like we originally started. You know, I think a lot of the issues I deal with is veterans issues in the state of Colorado. As a veteran myself, I understand the importance. You know, the VA continues to be, even though the VA hospital did open, you know, we continually have stumbling blocks within the VA system. You know, I am not in favor of the single payer, and the reason is because I'm in the single are not something I've read about. The problems are something I've experienced. So at this point in time, I don't think the state or the outcomes of single payer will benefit the people of the state of Colorado or the nation for that matter. So we'll continue to be an adversary of a single payer, but I will continue to try and bring to resolve what the VA is supposed to be doing. Since I've been in office, this is my 6th year there's been 4 Secretary of VAs that we've been through, and every one of them, their claim is they will straighten the VA out. And hopefully the current one is a gentleman by the name of Wilkie, and hopefully he will make an impact on it. You know, one of the issues that we're working on right now is a conduit out from Mevo to Lamar. The water issue in Lamar is CDHPE has actually discovered uranium in the water. And the reality is CDHPE, what they will do, they will go to the entities and say, well, this is what you need to do to filter the uranium out at a considerable cost to the counties along the way. And the conduit is part of the Arc Valley, or the Arc Frying Pan situation back in 1962 that was passed by the federal government with every funded. This conduit will go from the Pillar Dam to Lamar. And, you know, we're pushing very hard on this because the reality is you'll have one supply of water. Therefore, you will have, I think it'd be a huge cost saving for the counties and cities in that area due to the fact that CDHP might be fining them additionally as the future goes on for adverse water quality. So I think it's a good thing. I'm on my way to Raton this afternoon. We're going to be meeting with Amtrak, which is an issue that affects this area directly. At this meeting, Amtrak is going to propose the bus route to take away, to eliminate the train from La Habana to south of Laramie, Mexico, which I would be strongly opposed to. We've had a situation with Amtrak where we went through several Tiger grants in Colorado and Kansas, as well as in Mexico. And the reality is, Amtrak recently got a new director on the board who's had a complete flip on what the old director was doing with the states. So, you know, I believe that we made deals with Amtrak as well as Burlington Northern, and even as well as the communities to progress this, and all of a sudden Amtrak wants to change it. Well, I do not believe that they had the authority to do this in the first place. I think that we have set this plan up for a 9 grant, which actually would take care of Mexico, and all that has to do is go through the House. And I'm kind of proud of our Colorado federal legislation on both sides of it. Exactly what the same situation with the buses would do. So we're going to be fighting for that. And, you know, we just continue on, you know, trying to build economic development throughout the district, because I think that's one of our primary functions as political people. You know, it's not about, you know, we try and straighten things out, we try and create things, but I think primarily economic development. Years ago, what we did, economic development-wise, we brought a group of people down here by the crossroads to Trinidad to look at some of the older buildings that were vacated. And I'm really impressed by the way the whole change of the town has looked. Commercial Street, you know, if you look at those buildings, you know, they're all in really good shape, they're all occupied. So I was very impressed with it. I think Trinidad has really come a long ways in a short period of time, and I think we ought to continue this as much as we can. But I know you got a room full of people here that are, you know, important ones here, and I think unless you have any questions, I'll get out of your way.
I have one question. You're talking about uranium in that water,
I do.
and it was going to be a cost to the counties and the cities along there. Does the first one have to bear most of that cost, or is it, how are they going to?
Well, what bears the cost is wherever it appears through water testing. Right now, the only appearance is in Lamar. And, you know, I don't want to put a bad connotation on it, because the water is still safe, it's within the limits, but you can see the increase of the parts per million of uranium over a period of time. Now, CDHPE is placing waivers in place right now with the idea that the conduit out of the Pickle Reservoir will eliminate the problem completely. So when you talk about the first, there is no first, there is no last. It's wherever it appears, and right now it's appearing in Lamar.
And that's the only place it's appearing?
To my knowledge, yes. That's the only place that CDHP has reported to me that they have found. But the reality is that's the end of the pipeline. So, you know, what we're going to have is if we can get this going, what we'll have is one point of distribution. That's the Pickle Reservoir. And all water will be right there for the entire lower arc. Now, will tell you that this stops in Lamar due to the fact that the towns south as well as east have opted not to be a part of it. And they did that in 62. But what we're looking about it is a line going from the Pueblo Airport, because that's where Pueblo has it now. There's capacity there. We can pick it up at Pueblo Airport, go to Lamar on 50, and then when 96 cuts off, to take a line from there to Ordway as far as Eads. So it's to the point now where it's a water safety issue, because there should be no place in this entire country that you cannot go and find good, safe drinking water. So we need to continue that aspect. And that's one thing that I've always been admiring about not only Colorado CDHPE but the entire nation, because all water should be safe wherever you go in the country. You do not find that in other countries. So I think even though it's an expensive endeavor, I think it's time that we went down this route and made sure it stays safe.
I just have a comment that I appreciate your standing up for the Amtrak. It's vital for this county, for a lot of our elderly to utilize that. They can't drive anymore and travel, so.
Well, the reality is, what I did is I'll also put into place in the state of Colorado the Railroad Commission. And the purpose of this Railroad Commission is not only to assist with the Southwest Chief, but look at a north-south line. And I'm talking border to border, from Raton to wherever's in northern Colorado. But the reality is, we also have branches out. Alamosa could be involved in this. Salida, wherever there's a branch off the railroad, it's always, everybody knows the history of the railroad in this country, but I think that it's to the point now when we're talking about a population, expansion within the state, we need to look at all the viable ways of alternative transportation there is. Not only for normal transportation, but for veterans to make it to the VA and Denver. Population of not the Pennonites, the ones that only travel in buggies. Amish. Yeah. We have a large Amish population, and they will either have someone drive them to either Trinidad or Lahana to catch a train to go back east. And so, that's why we're trying to get this actually in Pueblo to match up with that north-south line. Whether or not it'll come about, I cannot say, but we're working toward that.
Oh, thank you.
You bet. Well,
Thank you for being here today.
it's always a pleasure to come by, and I know there's a short period of time, there's a lot going on, but I stand ready to it. I have a lot of ties to this region. I'm just down the road, man, and all of it, but something that is important to the entire state, and that's true.
Presentation by Gary Waller of Dixon Waller and Company on 2017 audit.
Hopefully everyone has an audit report. And then there was a handout that I gave, which will kind of help in the presentation. What I'd like to do is go over the high points of the audit report and then get into the letter which it facilitates the presentation. If you turn to page 7 of the audit report, this is the operating statement for the governmental funds. Not Roman numeral 7, but Alpha 7.
Alpha 7?
Yeah, it's probably 20 pages in. What's listed here are the major funds, starting with the general fund, the road and bridge, public welfare, capital expenditure, and something else called other governmental funds. Now, in the back of the report, there's a breakdown which summarizes those funds, and the totals are presented here. In the general fund, you'll notice, and I might just hit the totals. We had total revenues of $5,783,000. We had expenditures of $5,095,000. We had transfers out of $636,000, and we had an overall increase to fund balance of $51,203. Now, included in the general fund, we've included the contingency fund, what you call the contingency fund, and the PILT fund. Those are, you're recording them as separate funds, but they're actually combined for reporting purposes. So your fund balance went from $3,576,000 to $3,627,000. The road and bridge fund, we had $5,075,000 in revenues, $6,383,000 in expense. You had an operating loss or excess of expenditures over revenues of $1,307,000. We had transfers in from PILT of $400,000, and so you had an overall decrease in fund equity of $907,774, which took the fund balance from $3,602,000 to $2,694,000. Now again, these items are discretely expended, and so some of this could be in a timing situation, but overall this is shows a decline in road and bridge monies. Public welfare, we had $9,834,000 in revenues, $10,071,000 in expense. We had an operating transfer in from the general fund. General fund?
Yes.
$336,000, and which zeroed out the operations, so there's no revenue or excess revenues or excess expenditures for the period. So your fund balance, it started off with $514,000. The state determined that SAP paid those monies, so it was reclassified from a restricted fund, and you have to expend the monies for that purpose. A deferred revenue means that monies are restricted for a particular purpose. And so it's basically the same thing, only they're both. And 19, SEP indicated that they would start requesting any unused monies to be sent back to the state. They have not determined what to do with the current and prior year monies that the counties received. That's on hand. So, but I would assume that would have to go back too.
So if we've received funds over the last 3 years and haven't used, we may need to write a check to the state over the last 3 years. Is that what I'm hearing you saying?
Yes. Now that money has been restricted. So the social services has that money. It's set up in their cash balance, but it's restricted and hasn't been earned yet. So it's for example, you've received money and the state says, well, here's some money that you can use for this purpose, but if you don't use it for that purpose, then we request it back. So social services does have the money.
So they're just kind of loaning it to you if you use it, and if you don't use it, you give it back.
That's what's happened from current year and prior. Now, state and feds have gone in and said that this is no longer something that will state SEP starting in 2019. So we'll have to wait and see what they ultimately come up with. But all the monies have been reclassified from restricted fund balance to a deferred revenue, and that's what that change is there. Which basically, like I said, means the same. Monies have to be expended for a particular purpose, or you can't, or they have to be sent back. Capital expenditures. Capital expenditure is a fund that's discretionary in nature. You choose to make capital expenditures, or you choose not to. You had $248,000 in revenues. You spent $387,000 in expense. So it took your fund balance $1,352,000 down to $1,214,000. Where you see the other governmental funds, if you turn to this gives a breakdown of what those other governmental funds are. The jail facility, conservation trust, LEAF, and the capital projects jail improvement fund. Those are the other governmentals that make up that one line that was presented on page 7. So they meet certain criteria. So they're presented in their entirety. The non-major are grouped together called other governmental funds, and then they're presented in the back of the report. So that's basically how it goes together. All in all, you had 53,000 in revenues, 161,000 in expense, or you reduced your fund balance by 108,000, which took it from 1,316,000 down to 1,208,000. The other fund that the county has is presented on page 10. This is the airport fund. It's considered an enterprise fund. It's been incurring losses over the past years on a consistent basis. Now, you had revenues of 218,000 and expenditures of 570,000, or you incurred a loss of 351,000. Now, the reason that the airport fund has a fund equity or net position is that grant monies that you get for airport improvements and whatever are shown as revenue. They're closed into fund equity. The expenditures are capitalized and gone into fixed assets. And then only portion of that that's recognized on the income statement would be depreciation. So that's over a 25 to 30 year period. So that's why the fund balance. So that's, again, that's a timing deal. You receive money, you've expended the money, but the revenue went in the operating statement, but the expenditure only reflects depreciation. So you got to keep that in mind. If you, in saying that, if you turn to page 3, under business type activities, this is the airport fund. And you can see the assets, liabilities, and down at the bottom we have net position. You'll see where it says net investment in capital assets. That's the cost of your capital assets less accumulated depreciation. So you see you had 8,756,000. Which is greater than your ending fund balance. So you actually had a deficit of unrestricted monies of 84,166. That means that your current liabilities are greater than your current assets.
Someone went off the back door.
Somebody took it off the
Can't
bottom.
go out the back door.
I haven't caused a fire.
No, so we're just like used to it.
So anyway, the airport fund has not been a self-sustaining fund. You know, and it's getting to the point that it may require a general fund transfer to continue to operate. So that's something that you, or a transfer from one of your governmental funds to operate. And if that transfer becomes too large, then it may change it from an enterprise fund to a governmental fund for our pronouncements.
So when you say too large, what is too large?
Well, there's criteria. According to Tabor and some of the other criteria, if you receive like 10% your monies from other sources, then all of a sudden you may not be considered an enterprise fund. So, you know, depending on what occurs, you know, from operations. Okay. That's basically is in the most of the financial statements. They contain a lot of useful information, like on page 28. This is a summary of the fixed assets of the county. At the very bottom, well, in the middle, you had the governmental funds, which would be general fund, capital expenditure, those types of funds. They actually had a beginning net position in fixed assets of $39,254,000 at the beginning of the year. You had increases of about $376,000. You had depreciation of $5,587,000, which actually dropped the net basis of net value in the fixed assets down to $34,043,000. Right below that is the airport fund. You started the year with a net of $9,137,000. You had depreciation of $381,000, and that took your net balance down to that $8,756,000. And you'll notice that's the same amount that was on page 3 that we were talking about just a few minutes ago. So that's how it goes together. There's also schedules of your debt on page 29. You get into the various types of debt that the county has. Most of these are considered to be lease purchase agreements. You had about $976,000 in the ending balance of those types of arrangements. What I might do is get into the handout that I gave you and kind of go over some of this. I think a lot of the comments here would be something that I would discuss going through the report. The top part of the report, it's actually in 3 sections. The top part of the report is generally the operations. It's a snapshot of the operations. It gives the various funds, the beginning balance, total revenues, total expenditures, transfers in and out, ending balance, and then either excess revenues or excess expenditures. So you can kind of get a fast overview of what occurred in each one of the funds. General fund had $51,000 excess of revenues. Road and Bridge had the $907,000 excess of expense. So you can see overall, at the bottom there, you had a total excess of expenditures over revenues of $1,454,895. So you actually reduced your fund balance or your equity by that amount last year. The next section here is kind of a overview of large revenues from 2009 to 2017. So I gave you an analysis for several years, so you can see the ups and downs in the various revenues. You'll notice that in property taxes, in 2009, you had received $5,169,000. 2017, you've received $3 million. That's a decline of $2,100,000 that year. If you compare it to 2010, you had property taxes revenues of $6,311,000. So that's $3,200,000 per year decline in property taxes. Highway users tax remained relatively constant. HUTF went up from 2009, remained relatively constant to 2010. So overall, you can see that your revenues have declined over the last 7, 8, 9 years, and your expenditures have remained relatively constant, with the exception of capital expenditures for airport improvement, things of this nature. So that's what's caused some of the problem that the county has for cash flow problems. Your revenues are fund balance. The comments, the total countywide revenues declined by approximately $9,960,000 from 2016 to 2017. The majority of that was due to you didn't receive an airport grant of $6,500,000. Didn't receive quite as much in road and bridge grants of $1,850,000. And then $750,000 less in property taxes. The reason for the decline in property taxes from 16 to 17 was due primarily to the reduction of your assessed valuation in county oil and gas properties. So in other words, it declined by $107 million from 16 to 17. So that's that meant that you received $750,000 less in property taxes. Some of these other items we basically touched on. Number 3, the overall fund equity decreasing by $1,976,000. Again, part of that was the capital construction grant that we talked about, and depreciation. Also, some of this was the reclassification of the restricted fund balance in the public trustee, or the public welfare fund, to the deferred revenue. So that was basically that. All in all, I think the county is facing a shortfall of revenue. I think we need to look at that and address it. And there's been some positive occurrences which occurred since this audit. So, you know, you may address some of these considerations with the upcoming receipt of property tax monies and or sales tax monies that may be coming in. Questions? It's a lot.
You got any news? I know we're probably going to get hit. Jody came back from some meetings and she wasn't very excited. Our assessor, looks like our rate assessment is going to probably drop. We're probably counting if I lose another $700,000 plus this year for property taxes. So the offset of the sales tax hopefully will help with that. But
again, as long as you continue to take, it's like a piggy bank. You can take money out of that piggy bank for so long, and pretty soon, you know, it gets to the point that money's not available on a current basis. So, and that's the problem I know y'all are fully aware of, but you have to keep that in mind. You have to meet your obligations as they come due.
and the hospital at $8 million, the airport, I'm sorry, showing an asset of that, but it gives us it offsets. But at $8 million, is that what we're sitting in with the asset of the airport?
You have a net value of property in the airport fund of $8,700,000. Now, again, you can debate what that asset actually means. Does it equate to current cash or current assets? No, it's a long-term asset. And so I'm not sure how you would evaluate that particular asset. If I was looking at it, I would probably say the net equity of the county, usable equity of the county would be, you know, what you're showing less that particular item.
It's amazing how much the severance tax increased.
Yes. And there's a lot of, you know, PILT went up. You know, severance tax was $900,000 at 2009, it's $65,000 now, so it's a decline of $850,000. You know, that's a lot. So certain ones that had large. Any questions?
Well, thank you, and I want to thank Christy and everybody in this courthouse for trying to do the best they possibly can with the limited amount of resources. So, thank you all.
Yeah, and we would like to thank everybody within the county, social services, and the finance department over here for all their help. They've been very helpful, and again, we'd like to thank them. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Gary.
Well, on that good note, Christy Coley, update.
Okay, so Interlink Communications came and they did a walkthrough and they looked at our phone systems.
Pull that microphone.
They looked at our phone systems and I'm assuming you guys have a copy of the codes. And what this is the back page to upgrade the phone system. They're going to keep the rack and the original wiring. And they're saying that to upgrade, I think 45 phones, I think that's what it was, 45. It'll be $26,977. Or he's saying that we could actually, lease it for 60, or not lease it, but make a finance it for 60 months for him to support us for maintenance contract.
So, I guess I need to know what, we've got a dial tone now, and we're gonna have a dial tone for $60,000 more or whatever. So tell me how much better this dial tone's gonna be than the one we've got.
I think this is voice. Yeah, I'm saying I think this is voice override. I thought that's what he had. This is that we're gonna have to bid it out. So after we did that, Dixie came back, then we could do the specs and everything, bid it out, and then you can see from there. But Rob Jenkins probably can come and maybe speak about what the difference is on that. I have to apologize, I don't actually have that information. And he did say that this will change it. He said the upgrade won't change it completely. He did tell me that.
Is that the courts included?
No, the 45 is just first and second floor.
You take this one?
We talked about that one to where we'll probably, if we do upgrade, that will be like a conference phone, so that, because you do a lot of conference out here sometimes, if somebody, like a commissioner or attorney out here, or even for BOEE, when you do that, they can call in. We did talk about that. That's one of the phones he did, so that he can get a conference call, a conference phone for this one here.
Again, I'm still trying to figure out.
Do you remember, Kim, what specifically he said?
Well, the original reason for us wanting to look into a phone system was half the time the phones are out. If we have a lightning strike or a power outage, then the assessor does not have phones that following Monday. When we also call out, they come up unavailable, so we don't get a lot of response from people. We have to leave voicemails. And so we just wanted to see around about how much a phone system would cost, and parts and receivers and stuff like that. So I think that we need to look into the new phone system. The fact that we can use the wiring that's there is going to save us a lot of money.
So what are we going to save? And you may not have these figures top of your head, but what are we saving in maintenance that we're spending now to keep these going?
Probably productivity, because we're losing a lot of phone calls. We're losing a lot of, Jody can go a day without a phone, and for some reason up here is where they always lose their phone system. And so then we have to shut down the entire phone system to get her back up and running. And so, again, with the voicemails and stuff like that. They also have a feature on there where your voicemails can go directly to your email instead of having to call in and retrieve your voicemails if you're away. It'll automatically go to your phone. And so and that's all included in the cost that he quoted us.
And right now we're running out of spare parts. I've ordered phone cords, and that didn't help some of the situations. We're trying to use skeletons of old phones, and we're running out of parts that we can take to use on phones that are failing.
I know the voice quality on them is not that great.
And
So
I have had several calls talking about our menu system that is so outdated. And I had one gentleman very upset that we had to fix that.
So with the $2,300 that we're going to spend a year on maintenance, what is that going to buy us?
Support to where we can have somebody actually show us how to fix the voicemails. And
If we have new employees, switching different things like that. Like right now, our phones, we don't know how to get in there to actually take off voice messages from our previous employees, to where we don't know how to actually do that because it's so old and we don't actually have that capability right now. But it does show in here, if you look at your packet, it does show the type of phone, what it will do, the features of it. It does show that, of what he's presenting. And he actually does COGS telephones. He supports COGS. I think First National Bank also as well. I thought he said.
What we call it?
Oh, First National Bank of Wall Street.
Well, I called it, I'm hoping back.
Yeah, First National Bank of Wall Street. He actually does. So we probably can get a reference from them as well.
And the ambulance district.
Yes.
No, I think we have to go out to bid for it. So.
We do, but this is it's a good start to where we can actually do that. So. I can budget for it for 2019. Because it's a good start, we can budget for it. And then we can actually get out for it.
Public comment, you got the sheet.
Thank you, Christine.
Sure, you're welcome.
Yes, thank you. Chap?
Good morning. I'm here this morning just to present an initiative that we've been working
Can
on.
you say your name for the?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes. I'm Monica Shaw. I'm working with a team of people on this rural broadband initiative. I've gone to a couple of Action 22 meetings, and then there's a group of people in the county that have come together to try to work on this and bring broadband to the rest of the county. So this morning, really, I'm just here to introduce it to you, answer any questions, hopefully get some support if we can. We're meeting every other Monday night right now at City Hall, 5 o'clock. And then I can just give you a little bit of information. This particular flyer is really about collecting data, but it's where we begin. We're going to collect data across the county, and where we see the greatest need, we're going to try to get grants. There are grants through DOLA and USDA. There are also for-profit grants that we could get this fall if we can get a company involved. But one of the first steps in this is to actually have you support us, or introduce it to you and hopefully get your support. So I don't know if there are any questions. I probably haven't done a very good job of explaining broadband. Right now the FCC says broadband is 25 down, 5 up, so that's the speed. And in the county, in Los Angeles County, it's pretty sad here. I would say nobody in the county probably has those speeds. So the idea behind that is to begin working with these grants and bring better infrastructure in. CenturyLink was originally paid to do this by the federal government. They're trying to pull that funding, which is where these grants start to come from. So that's all on a legislative level. They've made some changes to the laws which allow us to address the issues in Los Angeles County, actually several other counties. And there are counties that have been very successful with this initiative. It was a 5-year plan. If we get funding through grants, we'll begin next year, which gives us 3 years actually to address the problems in this county. Have I described broadband well enough? It's just about your speed in the county.
Well, we do have this discussion with Council of Governments. I don't know if Walt is attending your meetings or not, the director of South Central Council of Governments, and I sit on that board. So we've been working with, or I have, with that board to try to get this pushed through as well. And I know he's been working with grants as well, trying to get this going. The whole county, I mean, you can move to, was Raton, they got high speed right through your door, or?
No, just in the rural areas.
Rural areas.
Every rural area has high speed internet right to their door.
Yeah, and we should have it as well. When Dola was here on our tour of Western Los Angeles County, they also mentioned that that'd be a great place to putting it all broadband up in that area. So everybody is behind it, and probably behind the scenes supporting it. So if you need us to do a formal letter of support, I think we can probably get that through.
That would be good.
Because it is something that would bring more people to our community.
The opportunity to speak with you for just a couple minutes. I just left with Christy a letter outlining the financing structure we're pursuing for our facility project. I know you haven't seen it yet, but I just wanted to introduce this. I know it's the first step in a several-week process. But that letter includes a request to transfer title of the hospital facilities to the Trinidad Area Health Association sometime in mid-2019. That actually isn't our preferred structure, but the USDA is going to require that to collateralize our loan. We had initially proposed to the USDA that they collateralize the lease agreement that Tahoe has with the county, and they were not agreeable to that. They want a tangible asset to collateralize $30 million. We don't expect that our construction loan is going to be a problem with the title transfer forthcoming at close of the loan. So we just wanted to leave that letter to outline the structure that we're requesting and start the process over the next several weeks to have some discussions, public meetings, whatever all you will require about that.
Well, it sounds like you've got a pretty big project going here, and I think we're agreeable to sit down and listen to the proposals and try and figure out what's best for you and the county.
Right, we would appreciate that. And that letter includes, we'll put language in there to make it possible. And if there was another alternative, we prefer that, but USDA is going to require that for financing, and understandably so.
Okay, well, we'll read this letter and we may have some questions.
Okay.
But I think what you said about a community meeting, I think that is very agreeable to us to get everybody's input.
Right.
And that way you get to explain why, firsthand, why you need this or why this is going to go forward, and instead of hearing rumors on the street that
right.
you guys are going to put $34 million in your pocket and walk away. So.
Right.
Or also give an opportunity for our constituents to not just come through us to ask you the questions, but we can ask them themselves. So,
Right.
you know, we have a lot of phone calls on
Is that a meeting?
issues.
Right. Is that a meeting we need to schedule, or you all need to schedule, or we do jointly?
Well, let's do it jointly.
Okay.
Because, you know, what we schedule may not work for you, and probably just off the top of my head, but maybe in the evening, so that people who are working can, are you all like to meet in the evenings?
Of course.
We did this, about 2 years ago, 3 years ago. How long ago was it?
Four.
I was young.
Time flies.
And I think it's time to revisit that and,
Okay.
and hear the pros and cons.
Okay. Well, we'll work with your staff and get that set up as soon as possible.
Okay. All right, that's probably something. Smiley over there.
Okay. Any questions?
Not yet. We'll have a bunch of them.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, now we get to reports. Has anybody got any reports? We hope not. Well, we do. Do you want to say anything, Phil? This is road and bridge. Okay. Discussion with Mr. Lauren Wilcox. Fairgrounds used for summer of 2019 Bible camp.
Good morning, I'm Lauren Wilcox, for those of you who don't know, Director of Spanish Peaks Rodeo Bible Camp. In 2018, we had our first inaugural Bible Camp, and we originally had it slated for Levita, and due to the fires and whatnot, we looked for a place to move it, and we thank you gentlemen for being gracious enough to open up your facility. And I've rode there before, but I did not realize what you actually had, and I think there's a lot of potential at your facility here in Trinidad. And I would also like to thank Kenny and Brandy. They did an excellent job at making us feel welcome and helping us out where and when we needed it. And we are going to have our camp again next year, and we were hoping that we could be able to move it to Trinidad and have it in Trinidad. And obviously, we are expecting growth. I mean, it's been mentioned of how many people might come to Trinidad because of the camp. And just for an example, since we did our camp here, we helped at one in Kingsburg that we helped with last year. And last year they had 15 kids for their inaugural camp. This year they had 48, which if you get 48 kids, the parents are going to bring them in, drop them off on Wednesday, then they're going to go home, they're going to come back on Saturday. A lot of time grandparents and friends, relatives, whatever, will come watch the rodeo on Saturday that we have for them. And then, of course, you'll have all of your staff volunteers and whatnot that come in and they stay on site. But a lot of those staff members are going to the wherever during the week for things that are needed and so on and so forth. So hopefully it can be a win-win, but I would like to speak to you guys about that, see what we can work out on it. And we were proposing June 25th through the 30th of 2019. And when I asked Brandy about it, she said the fairgrounds were available for that time. So, do you guys have any questions or comments for me? Or?
I knew you guys were going to move down here, but what actually transpires at this camp? So you have they drop the kids off, and then you guys teach them the rodeo? Is it
Yes,
like how should I say, Bible and rodeo all rolled up into one? Is that what it is?
I guess the easiest way to describe that, it's like a vacation Bible school with a rodeo involved. So we get the campers up, and I mean, I'd be perfectly willing to give you guys, gentlemen, a copy of the schedule at some point if you'd like to see it. But the kids arrive between 2 and 4 on Wednesdays, and then we'll feed them. We have chapel twice a day. We have clinic time in the mornings and the afternoons. We do morning and evening devotions, and we try to have game time for them. And it's basically to help promote the rodeo and help them learn to do their event better, but it's also to bring them closer to God, and in all trying to make them better people in the end for our community and our country in the future.
I can speak to that and attest to that. I was out there during this time, and you guys are very structured. I did see your itinerary for your days, so they do have it set up special times, and you've got chow time though. You got to feed the kids.
Yep.
But it was really neat to see all the kids out there and enjoy themselves. So I like the program. I'm glad you guys came here. We just have to figure out what I think our expenditure or our cost would be. I know it's something that we try to do for other entities that are nonprofits. I think like the 4-H and the FFA, and I think it's just a matter of negotiating a fee, and hopefully we can keep it as minimal as we can to keep our maintenance staff. And I do want to also say thank you guys very much, and Kenny can attest to this, that you guys left the facilities in better shape than you got there. I know they cleaned out all their stalls every day, and the place was in good shape, so thank you very much for that. So it's not like we have to go in and put a lot of maintenance into it and spend a lot of money after an event normally does leave. So,
well, that's the thing that we try, because you guys did us a huge favor, and no matter what kind of agreement we make, it just shows on us of what kind of shape we do and how we treat it. So we try to make it to where you guys are happy with us, and we just try to take care of it because we want to come back, and we appreciate you guys even considering the opportunity to have it here.
I think you just continue on discussing with Brandy, and she can bring a proposal to us, and we can come to an agreement here in the near future.
Okay. I thank you for considering us for this event too. I think it sounds like a really good thing to have here, especially when it comes to our youth.
We think so. You guys have an awesome facility down there, and like I said before, I've roped there before at different events, but I never really explored the fairgrounds, and that grandstand is just really cool. I love that whole grandstand. So it's pretty awesome. We actually have a morning staff meeting, and unfortunately sometimes the staff doesn't get to bed till like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and then we get up and we have staff devotions and meetings at 5:30 or 6. And when the sun's coming up in the morning and you're sitting in them grandstands, you're going, oh, I really don't want to be up, but then you see it, it's pretty awesome. I love that grandstand. So, any more questions, gentlemen? Or?
We'll just stay in contact with Brandy and get that. Probably, and I guess you've already tentatively kind of filled them in. Okay. We don't want to lose the date.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate what you guys did for us this year, and I do understand that you have expenses involved in it, and I would come up and see what you come up with, and if we can make it work on our end, we would be more than happy to do it, and hopefully we can come back.
Thank you. Do you think having work with Brandy, is that the best way to handle this? Okay. You're on the hook, Brandy.
Perfect. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a great rest of your day.
All right. Thank you also. Consideration of gray and black market marijuana enforcement grant program. Who's addressing that one?
No, and I'll chime in.
What's that?
I'll chime in.
Okay.
When it needs me to.
Okay.
Ronaldo San Stephen, County Sheriff.
Morning. So why don't you kind of give us a synopsis of what this is?
If you don't mind, because I just, all I did is really just answer some of the questions that Christy had.
The Greater Life Grant is actually a reimbursement to law enforcement for any actual expenditures for 16, 17, and part of 18 for investigation of unlicensed marijuana. So I had Ronaldo send me documentation for any call-outs or anything that they've done for any unlicensed marijuana in the county. And then we can take personnel, we can take travel, we can take, let's see what else are we saying, equipment supplies, medical expenses that we could actually show as an expenditure that we did in 16, 17, and like I said, part of 18. So after he sent me everything, he also did send, because we have to say what is the need, and we do need it because we spent, we travel, the county's the largest county. We didn't have, the list is not that large, but she did say just to come up with the percentage. So I came up with 20% of our salary, Ronaldo, because he's the investigator, and for travel. So I'm requesting $53,632.87. So once, because it says that we have to actually have a motion to say that the commission will say, yes, we can apply for this grant. Once you say that, we can do that, I'll submit it.
Does this grant require match?
No.
Now that's the kind of an oxymoron. If we're talking about marijuana, does it require a match? or a bite?
Yeah, and Ronaldo did send information of certain situations that they've been in, to what they, the investigations they've done on the marijuana. So.
Is this the same grant that we did last year to help buy the body cameras, or that's a different grant?
No, this is a different grant. This is a different grant.
So we're in.
This grant actually has, I think, $6 million, available right now.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So basically all it is just gathering the information.
Right, and to see if you qualify.
And submitting it. And hopefully we'll get a check.
Hopefully. Like I said, it's just a reimbursement for actual expenditures. That's what this is.
Okay, so is there anything you want to add?
No, I think you covered everything.
Okay.
Well, I like free money.
Yep.
I'll make a motion.
I will second it.
Commissioner Wilker?
Yep.
Commissioner Lopez?
For it. Okay, yes.
Thank you.
In favor.
Commissioner Love?
Yes. Consideration of courthouse security grant to continue funding for personnel. Is this something you think we need to take care of?
Yes, that's what I was request as well. The executive session, with some safety concerns discussing it in public.
Right. Okay, we will put that off until we're able to go into executive session. So, if you're here about 6:30 tonight. Consideration of resolution revoking comp time and overtime freeze and hiring freeze. Kim, is that something you want to speak to?
I don't know if Pam wants to address it or.
I can. Well, based off of the special meeting that we had the other day, that was something that was considered to make it easier for them to work through what they're doing with their budget. So I drafted one. I believe Paula handed it out this morning, so it's not in your packet. It's separate, but it just basically says that, we had the concern we didn't have the budget money before, that we now are at least receiving a little bit more money to meet it. However, there is a provision in there that we still have to stay within the budget appropriations, even though these may be revoked.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying that my understanding was that the way that we were leaning towards was revoking those two resolutions, the one that put the freeze on the comp time, overtime, and the freeze on hiring.
Do you have that resolution?
It should be,
It was similar.
Oh, it's one you just handed out?
Yes.
Okay. So who's the good reader?
whole thing.
I already learned, so.
A resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Las Animas County, Colorado, revoking resolution number 16-043 and resolution number 16-041. This would be resolution number 18-027. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners passed resolution number 16-043 concerning the implementation of a spending freeze and an overtime comp freeze for all departments, and resolution number 16-041 concerning the implementation of a hiring freeze for all departments when budget revenue was not sufficient to meet the needs of the county, and whereas current and projected tax revenue is such that the needs of the county are more sufficiently being met, and whereas elected officials have a budget that may now allow them to direct the use of overtime comp time for necessary tasks and to hire necessary personnel. Now therefore it be resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Las Animas County that number 1, resolution number 16-043 regarding the implementation of a spending freeze and overtime comp time freeze is hereby revoked. Number 2, resolution number 16-041 regarding the implementation of the hiring freeze is hereby revoked. Number 3, elected officials are reminded that they must still stay within their current budget appropriations regardless of this resolution was adopted this 21st day of August 2018.
So basically all we're doing is revoking.
We're sending the 2 resolutions that were put in place in 16.
Okay.
And then we can possibly, when we do union negotiations and also revamp our personnel policy a little bit, we can discuss further how we want to go with comp time. I know we were all over the place. Some people wanted it, some didn't, and this will give us just a little bit more time to figure out the pros and cons of comp time versus overtime.
Do you have any questions?
On the spending freeze, is that doesn't include the Water's Department if it's over $100?
No, that's a purchasing policy that we
Yeah.
have.
Okay.
They still have to stay within their bottom line appropriation.
Okay.
Well, I'd like to say this is probably a good day. This doesn't have to be held what happened to this county in 2016. Flat revenues and being only 3 days a week, so this is it's a good turn in the right direction for the county, and we have to stay within our budgets. And I think as our mid-year review was, Chrissy had everybody right on target, and that's, you guys keep a big close eye on everybody's budget.
I think also this will help the department heads keep track of their own budget more efficiently when they need to.
Make a motion to approve.
Second?
Commissioner Mulder?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Loudon?
Yes. Consideration of IGA for building inspection services for Starkville.
I'm calling Carrie so he can come.
Gary's not, oh,
He's coming,
okay.
okay?
Why don't you want to go on?
I can go ahead and speak if you'd like.
Okay. Is he on his way?
He was gonna come at 10:30, he told me.
Would you like to wait?
So I just was sending the message to have everyone give him a call.
We probably need him here, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we go to Castilla Pit? Let's go ahead and do that. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Good morning, Commissioners. Before you should be Colorado Division of Reclamation Mining Safety Annual Report and a map for the steel pit to submit to them. Fee due is $791. It's a 112 permit, which means it's 10 acres or more. And I'd ask the board to approve this.
This is basically what we have to do every year.
Every year, with every one of the pits, yes.
Looks like all the paperwork's in order. Always doing a good job, too. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Yes.
Commissioner Loudon?
Yes. Consideration of EIAF 8646 grant contract for the paving of County Road 53.7.
Commissioner, before you should be signature sheet for, excuse me, the grant that Commissioner just talked about, 8464. It's the paving of an overlay, County Road 53.7. That's the road that goes north out of Bangalore, the old state highway. Existing surface is concrete, it's really rough. We're hoping with this overlay we can smooth that up some. It's $1,020,000 grant, $510,000 grant monies, $500,000 county cash, and $10,000 in kind. And lastly, this is one I run past Attorney Nelson, that DOLA has stated in one of their letters that if we want an original signature sheet, we need to have 2 signature sheets. I don't know that it's necessary. In the past, we've always just got a copy back with both the state's signatures and our commissioner signatures. But if you think it's necessary to have an original, then I'd ask commissioners to sign 2 signature sheets.
2 of the same exact document?
Pardon me?
The same exact document, just 2 of them?
2 of them.
They make me do that for all my grants too. Have 2 originals.
You have 2 original signatures? Yeah, it's an option for this. We've never done it in the past. We've always just got a copy back. So
But they're requesting to.
they have left that option up to us. They want an original. And if we want an original, we need to sign 2 of them. If we don't want an original, the copy's okay with us, we don't need to sign 2.
You're taking.
I prefer originals. If it's an option, it's just an extra signature.
It does cost a bit more.
6 more sheets of paper.
What they do for my state grants is you sign them, we send them both there, and they send us one back. Been doing that with the APG.
Oh, you sent both?
I've got a second here if you need.
Just one sheet.
Huh?
It's just one
I make a motion to approve the contract.
Are you good with the contract?
But I need 2 of them.
Standard.
Yeah,
This is standard contract, right?
Second.
Is he doing it?
I'm sorry.
I'm going to let you fill in all of the other stuff.
Made motion in second.
I'm sorry, I was.
Go ahead.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Moulton?
Yes.
Commissioner Loudon?
I guess.
Still believe that.
Only signed 1, so not.
Second, sign everyone.
See, we voted on that, didn't we? I was
Yes.
trying to sign my name and then.
You said I guess.
Okay. Consideration of bid results for IFB 18-R004 aggregate crushing services.
Commissioners, we solicited bids to crush gravel in 3 of our pits. The Normal pit, the Branson pit, and the Airport pit. With the following results, Colorado Crushing bid of $247,500, Leone Sand and Gravel $315,000, ANS Construction $351,000. Figuring in the preference points for a local vendor, which is Leone Sand and Gravel, their bid would still, depends if you go add 5% to Colorado Crushing to reduce 5% off, the Leone's are reduced 5%. So it would be compared to $299,250, which is still higher than Colorado Crushing's $247,500. I budgeted $333,000 for this, so I'd ask the board to approve Colorado Crushing's bid of $247,500 for this service.
I'll make a motion to approve Colorado Crushing for $247,500.
Second.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Moulton?
Yes.
Commissioner Loudon?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here he comes.
Okay.
He's covered.
Boy, I tell you what, we've been waiting for 20 minutes to hear from you, so we've got a thing done. Okay.
I'm having a window malfunction down there.
Can't open it? All right, we'll go back to consideration of IGA for building inspection.
Oh, whatever. Which are we together?
Go services for Starkville.
I guess you guys know Trip Carlisle, mayor of the great city of Starkville. Crick and I got together and we were talking about creating, I guess, an agreement where we would write permits in Starkville. And you brought this in 2014?
Yes, that was the first time I attempted this, ready to go on to the construction phases of that. I think the board here was amenable to that idea at that point in time as far as the schoolhouse was concerned. But I think there was some trepidation about doing permits for the entire other building permits. I don't know, in all honesty, I don't recall why that was the case. But I would like to just, we there's a possibility that a couple of properties have sold in Starkville recently. I see the potential for some newer buildings to be coming. But really, primarily, it is the schoolhouse, most of all, that we need to coverage on as far as inspections and things of that nature.
And what we're seeing by their current letter is that their city council adopted the 2009 IRC. I think there was a concern that they hadn't adopted the current code that we were on or whatever, but they have now. So did you ever find Paula?
I was told that it was 1999, wasn't it?
1989.
99.
Adoption of the code?
I thought that was what she told me, that the codes that you were using.
No, there were, 2009 codes is what we adopted.
And I had a long talk with Dixie because we were both trying to remember this, what happened, and that's kind of what we both remembered is that we were in favor of this, but we hadn't adopted the code, and so we couldn't go forward with that.
And we did take that step, and I believe that may have been the starting block. You're correct.
So, yeah, I mean, at the time it sounded like a great idea. I mean, we've got the resources that you don't have.
Yeah, our resources are very minimal.
So it made a lot of sense to us to do that. And as I say, that was the emphasis why it didn't go through, was that the building code hadn't been adopted. And everything's up to standards now. Is that correct, Gary? I mean, we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Okay.
This year I'm working on getting to the 18 code, and at which time if we get to the 18 code,
Well,
then you will too, right?
Yeah, sure.
And I guess that's probably one of the things that you need to stay in contact or keep aware of, is that if we change the code, then you need to change the code, or we're unable to.
I understand that there are some changes coming down the pike here as far as adoption of the new code books, so I see Carrie often enough that he'll remind me, I'm sure.
What have you been doing in the meantime in the past?
Well, we have not had any building in the time I've been in office. That's getting on 6 years. The only project that we had taken on was the schoolhouse project. In the schoolhouse project, we've got everything in place now. We have architectural drawings, construction documents, surveys. Everything is ready to go. It's just a matter now of applying for more money. Dole is going to carry us through on some, I'm sure. Like I say, recently I was just sort of, there was a fire under me to get it done now, because I've seen a couple of properties sell, and with a couple of people with an interest to build. And I haven't seen that in 6 years at all, you know, so, very little changes happen in Starkville.
Things are about to boom.
They're gonna move. You know, at one time we had 3,000 people living in Starkville, and I don't know if you were aware of that, but we're down to 100.
I did place in front of you the IGA that Dixie prepared. She sent it this morning, so I handed that out when I got it.
And this came this morning?
Maybe there's some,
And if you have a chance.
maybe there's some stuff going on in the
I was
interior.
ready for it, and I've been back and forth.
Maybe there's some remodeling or something going on.
Well, every house in Starkville has been remodeled
Yeah.
20 times, I'm sure.
Well, there was a roof, just recently, they asked me if I was gonna write a permit for a roof over there. I think Tim Bueno went in to do a roof, and I said, well, nobody's writing permits, so he went and did a roof.
Right, so people have been doing, you know, we're not stopping anybody from doing anything without having a building department, but, you know, it's not our goal to go in there and make everybody bring their house up to current standards.
Yeah.
That's the fear of residents, you know,
Yeah.
they think we're gonna police them all of a sudden and drive around town and tell them what to do. We don't wanna do that, I mean, that's why people live in Starkville in the first place, they don't wanna have to do that.
Yeah.
So, it's basically any new additions, any new construction, and as I've already stated, the schoolhouse is very important to us, so.
And you probably haven't had a chance to read this, but
I have
both
not.
of the attorneys for our side, I mean, we're putting it to you, so.
Okay.
Would it be appropriate that he has a chance to read that before we pass it?
You guys can pass it as is, and then if he decides that he doesn't like it, we can come back and redo
Okay.
another one if he doesn't want to have to wait. Because if you make him come back, then you're gonna push it off a few weeks.
Okay.
Have you had an opportunity to read,
I
Karen?
just got it 5 minutes before we came.
That's the
You
old one.
can, if you want to table it.
That's a new one. Well, if it means that we're gonna go ahead with this, then,
And then we give you a chance to read
you
it.
can read it later.
20 minutes to read it.
Use our chambers over there, the executive room, so then we'll come back and if you like it,
Okay.
we'll bring line.
All right, we can do that. Thank you.
I need a motion to table.
Do you have one, sir?
Second.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Walter?
Yes.
Commissioner Loudon?
Yes. Consideration of special events permit for Trinidad Roundup Association. Pretty straightforward, you don't see.
I reviewed it, they've given us everything that we need, the insurance is in there, the description for where the liquor or alcohol will be contained with the diagram, so I have no problem with it.
They also came to me and got paperwork for the vendors that'll be selling, so they can collect 1.5% for the county or 2.9 for the state, if depends on what they're selling. So he did came and got some paperwork from me.
I'd make a motion to association.
Second.
Are you voting? You're abstaining?
You just have to.
Oh, we'll have to find out, okay. Commissioner Walter?
Yes.
Commissioner Loudon?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Based on the fact that we're doing business together.
Okay.
So.
You know, we should have maybe kind of held out, we could have probably got.
Right. I think that's the quietest I've seen Louise in every meeting we've been.
Well, it threw me for a
I did the same thing last year.
And you paid well last year. Consideration of liquor license renewal for Ringo Super Trading Post.
I reviewed this one also. Everything appears to be in order.
I make a motion to approve.
With some goat cheese, maybe. I will second.
Do we need to amend the minute to put in goat cheese?
Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Walter,
Yes.
Commissioner Loud.
Yes.
You know, it's called trading post. I brought many fur coats there and never got nothing in return. I don't know. The only trading we did is money for,
Consideration of CCI 2018 Legislative Committee member appointment. And I think, Dean, you expressed some interest in that, is that correct?
Yes, sir. I'm currently serving on the legislature. Truly enjoy it, representing our county.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I will second it, I won't put you on the spot.
Commissioner Loud.
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez.
Yes.
Commissioner Walter.
I'll stay.
Thank you, Dean.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you.
Consideration of OPI Inc. appointment of loan committee member.
I didn't put any of the others that you guys are available because I only got one name submitted.
Say that again?
I didn't put for the other positions that are available to fill
No, just this one.
because I only have the one name submitted.
And they know, as soon as this meeting's over, you'll get that to them today for this appointment.
Well, it may not happen. Would you read the resolution?
I don't know.
No, you want one? Do you have it?
A resolution to the Board of County Commissioners of Los Angeles County, Colorado, making appointments. Should that be making an appointment?
Appointment.
To serve on the Bi-County Revolving Loan Fund and Business Loan Review Committee in accordance with the intergovernmental agreement with Otero County for calendar year 2018. This will be resolution number 18-026. Whereas the Colorado Department of Local Affairs granted funds to Los Angeles County and Otero County to capitalize and operate a revolving loan fund and business loan program jointly between the two counties, and whereas Los Angeles County and Otero County have developed a revolving loan program for the Bi-County region and have contracted the services of Southern Colorado Economic Development District to promote and manage the RLF program, to set out the process, means, and manner by which interested businesses and individuals may seek business development loans through the RLF program. And whereas Colorado law allows and encourages units of government within the state to cooperate and coordinate their efforts to provide programs, which is a regional revolving loan fund program, for the benefit of the general public within their respective jurisdictions. And whereas it is necessary that Los Angeles County has representation on the RLF Loan Committee to review and make recommendations on applications for loans from business owners located within Los Angeles County to establish new businesses, expand existing businesses, and or retain existing businesses within Los Angeles County, Los Angeles and Otero County. Now therefore it be resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Los Angeles County, Colorado, that the Board of County Commissioners of Los Angeles County does hereby appoint Kim Chavez to serve on the Bi-County Loan Review Committee as representative of Los Angeles County for calendar year 2018. Upon motion made and seconded, this resolution was adopted this 21st day of August 2018.
Well, I think, the more representation we have from our county, the better. And Christie and I both serve on this. It'd be a good addition to this. I'll make a motion to approve resolution 18-026.
I will second, but we need to contact Ms. Bird and double. I know SCED is still part of it, but I know they were pulling out, so I don't think they were pulled out for 2018 yet. So we probably need to address that next year. So, but if we can follow through with that, SCED was going to be part of this when this year started. So
For next year.
for next year. So with that, I second.
So this year it's set.
This year it's set.
Yeah.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Walter?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
SCED.
Consideration of adding an extension to Monument Lake Fine Mondragon temporary liquor license.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Brian Mondragon, representing Monument Lake Resort.
And this request actually comes from me, so I can address it if you want.
Okay, please do.
Mr. Mondragon has compiled all of his paperwork. He's given us everything. We did get the CBI check back. Dixie had been working on this one and she passed it to me a little while ago. I've got the investigation report drafted. However, we didn't get we weren't able to get the notice posted for the inspection done prior to today. His license expires on the 29th. We'd like to have him have a temporary license through the Labor Day weekend. So we're asking to bring it back on the 4th. I believe that I have to speak with Mr. Toppy about the inspection, but we can have all of that done by then. The notice posted, I'm working with Peach on that. We just want all that wrapped up before we present it for the final approval. The statute does allow for a 60-day extension on the temporary license.
So that's what this is right now.
This is a request for a 60-day extension on his temporary liquor license.
And when does that 60 days run out?
60 days from today. But we will be presenting it on the 4th at that meeting, so you shouldn't need the full 60 days.
Okay.
The assessor's office?
Okay, so you're okay with giving the 60 days, and then we'll take care of it, and Carrie's gonna have it all done by the 4th, or is that too quick?
I believe they were looking at having it done by today, but there were questions on what needed to be done, which I think I have the answers to. But if not, then they can also still schedule it and tell us when it will be done. That's allowed within the statute as well.
Okay, all right. Well, if it's allowable to do the 60 days, then
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Walter?
Yes.
Commissioner Gordon?
yes. Thank you,
John.
See you, Brian.
Consideration of replacing wording to resolution 05-022, establishing rules governing the sale of and accountability for aviation fuel and jet A fuel at the Los Angeles County Perry Stokes Airport. Hopefully you want to.
Well, since we have this resolution that says that we need to add 85 cents markup to our fuel, and I'd like to stay competitive with our neighbor airports. So I'd like to add some wording that might give us that option, so that we don't have to actually raise it to 85, just so we can stay competitive. And the wording I would like to add is after number 1, where it says the Board of County Commissioners hereby establishes a retail sales markup of 85 cents on every gallon of aviation gas and jet A fuel sold at Perry Stokes Airport. I would like to add, unless circumstances arise concerning price strategies to stay competitive with nearby airports. Unless you want to change it, but I just would like to add that, so that we're not in violation of this resolution.
So are they quite a bit cheaper than us right now? Because I thought our fuel prices were pretty.
Well, price has gone up when we just purchased fuel went up. So.
And I understand exactly where you're coming from, but I think, I guess I would like for you to come to this board if you're gonna make major changes, because I don't want to see that every week. Okay, now we're 30 cents above, and now we're 45. I don't think we want to get into a daily changing the price, or
No, it won't be daily because we don't purchase daily. So, well, we just purchased about 2 weeks ago, and that's where the price went up.
Okay.
So it'll be every load is what you're saying?
Every month, yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes, and I can actually send, I don't know how you'd like me to keep you in contact with that. I'm more than willing to let you know when the price changes.
I have one concern. We take credit cards down there, correct?
We take what?
Credit cards?
Yes.
And what is the maximum amount of fees that we pay on a credit card? I know through personal experience, we had one card that took 4%.
I think it is.
Waived card.
I think it's like 2 or 3%, if I remember correctly. When I looked, I think you asked that question last time. I think it was like either 2.5 or 3% is what the fee on the credit card is. So it's not 4 in that. It's about 2 or 3%. And what it is it's deducted from the price.
I just don't want the price to be cheaper than what we're paying fees.
Well,
you know, if we're paying fees, if it comes out, we're paying 50 cents in fees, and we're only marking it up 30 cents.
Right now, if we stay competitive with one of the neighbor airports, it'd be a markup of 55 cents instead of 85.
55 cents.
Per gallon.
And so what did we pay for the fuel?
$3.75.
$3.75 is what we paid. We'd have to be at 55.
So it goes to $4.30.
How much is it?
$4.30. So we can stay competitive.
What's the average if you fill 100 gallons, 50 gallons?
Yeah, it depends. It depends on what it is. If it's a jet or if it's a, like UPS is normally about 100 gallons. That's normal.
100 gallon purchase with $10.29 credit card fees, plus the probably swipe fee and an additional 75 cents, so $3, $4.
So we were lower than everybody too. We just purchased this deal. We were at $3.95.
So
and we just
when
purchased it,
these,
the price went up.
when these others run out of fuel, they're going to go up, and
Probably.
we go back up.
Correct. I'm saying we can monitor that if you'd like. I can make sure and tell Sam to monitor it and keep you informed on that.
Well, I think this gives us some flexibility. I really do. As I say, I don't want to get into it.
No. I'm saying the only time it's going to change is when we purchase the fuel to see, well, if it's less, that's great. Then we can do the 85. But if it's more, I would like to stay competitive. But
Sure.
if not, it's just going to fly by us because when I was there last week and when it went up, he just said if I would have known this, I would have flown over to another airport. He said.
Well, and I agree with her. I mean, you can't just stay at one set price. I mean, I think there should be some kind of percentage.
So we need to draft a new resolution, implementing that verbiage.
Yeah, you can change the verbiage. This is just something I just thought would give us the flexibility to stay competitive.
You will need to draft new resolutions, but Dixie, I talked to her yesterday, and she thinks that there's actually a resolution since this one.
Oh, there's another one after
She
this
thinks
one.
there's a newer one. I
did research that and I could not find it. I went back to 2008.
I don't think there is any.
Because Dixie said this was done before she got on this resolution, and she knows that she's almost positive one was done when she came in, maybe a year or two after, she said.
It's always been 85 cents, so I'm wondering what
Yeah, I remember doing it at 85, and I thought that we had changed.
And it's not necessarily the 85 change, but she just thinks there's another resolution.
Okay.
So if we're changing a resolution, we've got to look at the right one. And she said also we've got to check with the branded fuel contract to make sure that it's not going to conflict with that. And if we've talked to the airport consultants, if that has anything to do with it.
No. Are you talking about FAA or SCH? Yeah, that don't have anything to do with our fuel.
So but those are the two things, to maybe do another search to find that, because says she's fairly positive it exists, and she knows that Paul has looked for it and hasn't found it yet.
We did, I mean, there was one, and then we changed it to the 85, and I can't remember, it seemed to me like it was way, I mean, we were marking it up like 5 cents or 10 cents, I mean, it was, and we changed it to the 85, so there may be that one. You want to table this to a 4?
Yes. I'll make a motion to table and do further research, see if there's another resolution.
Do we want to allow flexibility on pricing up until then?
I think so.
Okay.
You know, to stay competitive, as long as, like I say,
Can we do that, Pam? I mean, make that sort of today, say, you know.
Not really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't. You got the resolution in place, and then again, just to check into those, but if we could table it till the 4th, we can even work on drafting the resolution and have it presented to them so that it can get approved.
So you want us to have it at $4.60?
I don't want you to have that. I'm saying that you've got concerns, but it's the board's decision. If they
I
want
believe I
to.
did see another resolution regarding the airport, but it didn't have anything to do with price. That's why I didn't even pull it.
Well, I remember this 85 that we set that because we were charging very much at all. So we set it at 85, and I believe it was that way. I remember the 85, and if we rescinded another one, I don't remember.
Well, in my opinion, we have different issues. This airport's county owned, Raton is privately owned, I believe. They take a loss leader with fuel. This is not our money to take a loss leader. I do want to attract more business to the airport so we can maybe turn revenues around. But we're in a rock and a hard place because it's not our, we're not private enterprise, we're government. So I think this needs some good discussion.
Well, let's see what you come up with for the 4th. Let's put this back on for the 4th. Let's see what you come up with.
I'll second the motion to table.
Did you make the motion,
Yeah.
Keith?
So then you want me to make sure Sammy's charging $4.60 then?
I think we have to.
460?
Yes.
Well, the markup over what the cost is for right now. I'll give it 2 weeks, we don't lose that much business. I want to break the resolutions we have in place, so I don't like it. I need to change it.
Commissioner Lucas?
Yes.
Commissioner Walter?
Yes.
Commissioner Loudon?
Yes, and I do believe that we need to be able to give somebody the authority to change things with approval. And as I say, that when the next fuel comes in, maybe we're higher or lower, and maybe 85. Or do you want to? I mean, this is something to think about. Is do we take the 85 off of that? Maybe if we bought it really, really good, we'd make $1.25.
Or we buy it in bulk.
Or we do buy it in bulk,
But I mean, stockpile. Yeah, I don't like having stuck to a margin.
Yes.
Price point. I'd rather see percentage.
Well,
margin.
and that's the reason why we picked 85 cents, and I can't remember why we picked 85, but it was kind of, Dean, I'll give it to you for this, and I really don't like you, I'm going to charge you a little more.
I have plenty. What's the standard in gas? You're in gas.
What's that?
What's your standard margin in gas?
Well, in order to make 1%, or not to make 1%, because you have electricity costs, of course, court costs, store costs. You know, we had, I think, Ride Express and I think Voyager. If we're taking Voyager down there, which is a government card, if the Army's doing it and using the Voyager card, that's 4%. So you have to be at least 5% just to basically break even.
or lose a little bit. It's a community service. That's what fuel is.
We don't have a convenience store there that can make up the difference.
Right, that's right.
Okay. So we need to go back to consideration of IGA for building inspection services for Starkville.
We've had a chance, opportunity here to review the IGA. I don't have any questions. Do you, Terry?
I don't think so.
Looks good to us.
I make a motion to approve.
I will second
I do have how do you want us to proceed as far as when we get you a signed copy, or how would you like that to happen? Because the clerk is not here today, so do you want us to?
I believe, do you guys have to sign it first, or how does that work?
And I guess since there's an agreement on it, we're gonna assume that you're gonna get it signed. Do you have a meeting, what, every 6 months, or?
No, we have a monthly meeting.
Monthly meeting, so.
We just had one Monday. But, so that means our next one will be next month.
Do we have any problem?
I mean, we can have a special meeting or something if you need it sooner.
It's better to have it signed and have it tested too. I mean, you can start.
When will your clerk be back? Or is that the only one that can sign it?
My signature is on here, but I see hers is on here as well. I can go take it to her and have her sign it.
Why don't you do that and get it back to us, and I'll sign one, and then once we get them both signed,
okay,
we can go forward. It shouldn't take very long.
Okay, great, thank you.
Does that work?
Yeah, it just has to be tested by a clerk. It doesn't have to be a special.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
And you still here?
Thank you for clearing that.
Consideration of bills and payroll for first half of August 2018.
Payroll as of August 15th is $174,985.03.
Anything we need to know about in this, or?
Nope, nothing really. Just sheriff. I'm saying there's some overtime for sheriff and jail. I usually highlight it, but I don't know if she makes. Do you make copies of the colored?
I must have, I will in the future, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So nothing out of the ordinary.
Ms. Knapp is still with extension, or did she
I
expire?
thought she was going to go into the end of September. Okay. I thought that's what was discussed during the year.
She has a budget for that.
Yeah, so the end of September will be the last time for her. Okay.
Is there a final payment to Mr. Waller?
For bills and payroll for August 1st is $170,895.49. So we did final payment to our auditor, the grant $85.27. We paid half down for the health department building that they're doing. That's insurance, isn't that right, Kim?
No, that's not insurance. That's connected to the insurance, but it's a stucco project.
Okay.
Before we do the insurance interior work.
Okay, so we paid half down. That came from capital expenditure. Okay. And then that was half the fairgrounds for the lights. 2 Red Wing, that's what that was. And then on August 8th, bills were $137,228.65. You'll see that was Road and Bridge for Fremont paving. Grant $85.27 is about $67,000. And that's it.
And on the...
Oh wait, we have one more, sorry. Oh, and August, no, go ahead and ask me, because I'm going to go to August.
I wanted to touch on the lights, the fairgrounds. We reach out to Ms. Quintana. Once they are completed, San Isabel will come in and do an assessment, and that's when the rebate will be.
perfect.
So we don't know the amount until the job is complete.
That's fine, just as long as it happens within the same year.
Yes. And they're gonna plan to do it after Labor Day, they can't get to it before Labor Day.
On August 15, 2018, bills were $179,987.64. And let's see what we have. Oh, pictometry for $118,000. I think that was the final payment for what we've already capitalized for that one. And then the Sheriff's Department computer kernel for $1,295. That's just a lot of updating he's doing. And that's it, unless you have any questions on something that I might have missed.
Get some cheaters.
Hard to get into that.
Called old age.
I'm gonna have my local contacts.
And wonderful.
I think everything's good, thank you, Christine.
Sure.
Make a motion.
Second.
Commissioner Walter?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Levin?
Yes. And I guess we don't have any DHS, so. Oh,
It's just information to where we are as of July 31st of 2018. General fund has a surplus of $1,187,000. Right now, you can see where everybody is as of July. Everybody should be at 58.3% of budget used. So I'll just give you a little graph of that.
I like your graph that,
It shows where everybody is.
yeah.
Yeah, and some of it you already know is because some of the invoices have been paid 100%. So that's why people like the accounting office is over their budget, because we've paid 100% to certain expenditures. So, but once the year keeps going on, we will actually catch up. Fire control is at 100% because we paid the fire control 100%. Road and Bridge has a deficit of $806,000. We're waiting for some funds from DOLA to come in for that one. Airport has a deficit of $31,000. Lottery has a surplus of $1,744. So that's the money's coming in what we've spent in that. You'll see I always do an itemized for capital expenditure of what we've spent out of it so far. And then the jail improvement, what we've spent. And the other contingent, LEF, those are just all the same year to date. So nothing out of the ordinary for now. Same activity. Any questions?
I got lost. Did you guys do DHS?
What's that?
Did you guys do DHS bills?
Not yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I heard it. I missed it. Oh, she's doing it.
Are you ready for us to do that?
No, unless you have questions on Christie's summary.
Next graph.
Thank you, Christine.
You're welcome.
Acting in his capacity as a Board of Human Services, consideration bills for first half of August. Should that have been consideration of bills?
Sure. I copy and paste gets me every time.
I haven't seen her.
Today.
Make a motion to the table.
Second.
Commissioner Wilker?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Levin?
Yes. Executive session. Board will meet in executive session under CRS 24-6-4024B, conferring with the with the county attorney for the purposes of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions in CRS 24-60424 after personnel matters not involving any specific employees who have requested decision of the matter in open session. Any member of this body or an elected official, personnel policies that do not require the discussion of matters personal to particular employees. CRS 24-6-4024C, determining positions relative to matters that may be subject to negotiations, developing strategies for negotiation. CRS 24-6-4024D, specialized details of security arrangements for investigations.
Motion to go to executive session.
Second.
Commissioner Wilson?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Lott?
Yes.
No vote.
What's that?
No vote.
No, I think we've got everything we covered. We didn't table anything to left or right. Carry on. So I think we're good, Tom.
Okay.
Mr. Waller, if you would.
Yeah, that handout that I gave you isn't, I did have a lot of letters and stuff, so it's not for public consumption. It's strictly really just for the existing presentation.
I'm sorry you had to stay around and tell us that. You didn't put it in and told us.
No, that's fine.
Always a pleasure.
If you have any questions,
I sent you that information.
10, 10,
I sent you that information.
15.
Do I hear?